Hey, how's it going, guys? HonestlySarcastc with the Hyperloops. Trying something a little different. I've been watching a lot of poker and Daniel Negreanu doing vlogs, and I thought it would be something nice to do for you guys. So today I'm just pretty much going to try to talk about like the changes. We all read the FAQs and know pretty much the differences going on. So my allies, the Force, got stronger due to the focus change. One with the Force got weaker due to the die moving when the character dies and it switches to a support. But it gained with my allies the Force. So it's kind of almost an even exchange. But like those are kind of whatever. The big differences are cargo hold, which Bobby Sapphire talked about in the article today, as well as fast hands becoming yellow only and ammo belt only working with weapons. There's pretty much a lot of damage that was done to the hero decks that were looping ammo belt. To be fair, it's rightfully so. They weren't really in the top tier contention based solely on ammo belt, but that really did mess with a lot of people that were just kind of running more casual decks. I say it a lot, but the big thing for me is that this format is all about round 2 kills, if you can get them. If you can reliably kill an important character on your opponent's side by the end of round 2, or pretty much as like the first action or two in round 3, then I think you're going to be playing a top tier deck. This is obviously ignoring like mill decks, because there's a whole different damage function for them as far as the amount of time to win the game. But most of the decks I'm playing, I'm looking to kill their main guy round 2. If not, then I need to be able to kill a guy that potentially like slows them down a lot. So like Poe Maz, I want to kill Poe, but if I can't, and for some reason they're not on throne room, killing Maz is perfectly acceptable. So killing Maz and putting like 3 on Poe is perfectly fine, assuming that you can survive through the onslaught. Because if you take a thermal and a Falcon to the face, like I don't know about you, but if you don't kill Poe by the end of round 2, your main guy's probably dead also. But yeah, so like it doesn't matter whether you're playing Qui-Gon Rey, Dooku FN, FN Jango, Poe Rey, Vader Raider. The big thing is if you're going uninterrupted, you have to pretty much be able to guarantee yourself that you would have killed their main guy by the end of round 2. Getting interrupted is fine, because you're not expected to have that same damage output if you're being incapable of getting your damage out. So if they're stopping you from getting damage, you're probably stopping them from getting damage, or they spent their resources to slow you down / stop you, so it's fine. They kind of even out. But so that's that. Like Qui-Gon Rey is pretty good about being able to do it. Poe Maz can do it. Vader Raider can do it. Emo Kids can do it. Every FN deck across the world can almost do it in round 1 if they hit some crazy godlike stuff, but can easily do it round 2. So that's more or less why all of those are top tier for me. But so the cargo hold change is going to be super interesting. I think a lot of people are going to try to put in the decks to combat FN. I don't know how good that'll be versus very strong FN players, because you'll know it's there. So it's not like you're like in a situation where, let's say, someone casts New Orders and switches into a cargo hold. They can like just mess up your entire round as the FN deck by ripping your 3-drop to somebody else. One, because they can go and kill that guy and make you lose the weapon, or 2, you have to force the override into a redeploy, knowing that guy is probably going to die, and you need to get the weapon back over, so you potentially lost the die that was in the pool, as well as maybe the inability to now re-roll it into play, and then you're kind of just waiting for it to shift back. But let's say we start the game and it's cargo hold, and I'm playing something, the low-key, like secret facility or Mos Eisley, then if we start on cargo hold, then like at least you'll know what's going on. So in those situations, if you're a 2-character deck, you might just go and play whatever weapon on FN, resolve it. Sorry about that, guys. Fingers of doom. Resolve whatever stuff, then roll FN. So if they cargo hold your big weapon away, it's shifting to your guy who has yet to activate. And we all know FN likes to prefer to do it the other way, where the first guy will get activated, see what resources or damage we do or cope with, and then FN through the rest of the round. And it's very beneficial that way due to modifiers on almost every weapon that could be cast on him outside of the yellow 3-drops, flamethrower and vibro knucklers, and I guess rocket launcher too. But seeing those are much more beneficial than casting stuff straight on FN, and then rolling and using only him, and then rolling out the other guy after they either claim or pass through it because you've already resolved the weapon dice. So it'll be annoying that way, but it'll be in front of you. You'll see it there, so you can just tailor your plate to it. And I just don't expect it to be a huge issue. It will be annoying. Weaker players playing FN might just run straight into it and get owned, which is totally possible in any list you're playing, because the 2-character deck, you roll out Dooku first, you play whatever weapon on FN, die rolls out. Resolve or no resolve, you just shift that over to Dooku if you're a fast deck and already finished your round. So I don't expect Maz to use it, because I don't think moving their fast hands is important. You could see versions use it running second chance, and shifting that potentially to Poe to be a raging douchebag, I guess is how I'd say it. You can see it in Vader Raider as a removal, and shifting force weapons over to the Raider, or vice versa after doing holocron stuff, or put force speed on Raider. So I think there's much more merit in the Raider deck for cargo hold than there is in Maz, because you're more inclined to play upgrades that can't be cast on both characters. But the ammo belt hit's going to be pretty rough on Hero Mill. It's probably done for right now. There's probably some way to circumvent it, but their actual discard is very slow. So I just don't see that being used. There was the guy who won the store champs with Rainbow Heroes, which is a very interesting list, but their base sides are just lacking damage. So I'm not really trying to call it luck, but it was heavily based on getting a weapon out and being able to use it every round. I saw him smash a Vader Raider, but he kind of rolled that 4 for a resource a million times. It got deflected once, and I swear to God, it probably resolved 3 times to actually do all the damage, or got focused to it to do all the damage. I'm trying to think what else is there. That's pretty much it. The fast hands hit was really only on a few of the top tier stuff, and it slows them down a bit. It doesn't crush the deck. It does give you more opportunity to deal with them and just not lose, especially if you did manage to survive through round 2 with your big guy intact. Those 2 decks were pretty good about being able to go to round 3 and just finish them off. Vibro Knives on Vader into 3 unblockable will just sneak through whatever defenses and finish you off. And Maz fast hands can just 30% to hit the special, or 75% to hit the 2, the 3 for a resource, or the special, and potentially finish guys off, especially since they're hitting and doing AoE. So there was just a lot there. They'll be a bit weaker now, but I don't see them really falling from their high pedestal. So anyone that follows me knows I pretty religiously play FN, and it's because his potential is kind of insane. He has the same 11 health that keeps him going, whereas Poe's 12 and Vader is 13. But that 2 health difference comes with a huge reduction in point cost. FN's actual die is pretty terrible, but you don't care about his actual die when you're cycling through weapons or casting additional weapons and just getting, lots of free damage, I guess is how I'd say. Not even free, like, the stuff you do with it's insane. Like having your opponent's Poe die in one round or doing 14 to Palpatine in one round is entirely insane. And that's with or without Boundless ambitions. Like casting Boundless, you can do some crazy chains. But that is the gist of the what's happening with the Factoning and what you expect for the meta to shift. I really just don't expect much to change at all. There's a couple decks that are trying to up and coming. I think Rey Qui-Gon's better situated now with the changes, just because they needed the additional time to be able to get their removal out, guard, force misdirections. They're much better now that the opponent can't just be like, oh, I'll smash you with all my dice. Like, Rey hits that +2, like, you have to be afraid when you're playing Vader or Poe now. It's anyone not running Friends in Low Places probably is definitely going to have to run it now. I don't know why you weren't running it before, but it's going to be definitely huge for seeing what removal is there, protecting your actual dice. Whereas part of the threat right now, or beforehand, is just doing fast hands. There are also decks that just didn't get touched because they were primarily yellow base. So like Han Rey, you may not even see Han run fast hands, just because there's a lot of modifiers that are going around. You have like the one side on DL, the side on holdout. You don't really need a fast hands Rey, and Han was always big on hitting the second chance, and you don't really have space for second chance of fast hands and then just one weapon. You really do want two big weapons, especially since your expectation is for Rey to actually die. But a lot of that deck was played without ammo belt for a while anyways, so I don't think there was any sort of real hit to them. But you still get to run fast hands if you want it. You just lose the ability to put like 4 speed or 2 4 speeds on Rey with the fast hands and do some silly action based stuff, which I think is much better for the game. The more casual player is much more inclined to not feel happy about not getting to do a single thing for 5 or 6 actions. It's not the same, but it's kind of equivalent when you claim versus FN, and they still have a fistful of weapons, and they're still doing stuff for a while, and all of a sudden you get hit upside the head. Except through the normal actions, they get to do what they want, because you're going back one at a time, back and forth, and they're just done with their actions, so that they don't feel nearly as bad. They probably look at it kind of crazy, like, how did I just take all this damage? But for the most part, it still feels like a game. If they had 3 pieces of removal, they can use 3 pieces of removal. That's not really likely ever, but it's just that it was an option, and the super action cheat decks just couldn't do that. I mean, like, they wouldn't allow you to do that, because they were just, cheat, roll out, okay, resolve, 5 damage. You're like, what the hell? And it's like, well, sorry, dude, I rolled good and I had 2 actions. There's always those times where you're sitting with like a resource and discard and a +2 on Rey, and you're like, what the hell, Rey? Why'd you do this to me? But overall, I expect the meta to be perfectly fine. A lot of very solid decks to play. I think FN is still going to win Worlds because he's quite ridiculous. And I'm not here calling for a ban. I'm just pretty much telling you the truth. Like, if you see me playing something, it's because I believe it's the actual best deck in the format. And I tend to stick to character abilities, and I always try to play, Rainbow, because I get the best cards, and I just want a deck full of the best cards. And FN puts cards in his deck that ain't even the best, but they become the best because he's silly. There's no other card. Like, he's just free ace in the holes. That's what he is. He's actually just free ace in the holes. And ace in the holes is not a very good card, but if you could ace in the hole everything, like, imagine how many items you'd play that were just terrible. You would totally ace in the hole in ATST if you could. And we're doing that with IQAs and lightsabers and flamethrowers. And they're really only like 50% to hit for damage. But 50% when you're not paying anything for free damage dice is bonkers. Like Synchronicity, we played 0 forward, very specific conditions. Riposte, you need shields to throw. Fight Dirty, you lose your yellow dice. Willpower, it's only throwing 1. Backup muscle throws 3 over turns. Like, and those either are like free and super conditional, or 1 and either take a long time or have a pretty hefty cost to them. Oh, lightsaber throw, you need to have a melee available, and FN's just doing this off of switching through weapons. And I think it would be okay if a bunch of the weapons didn't have redeploy, but you're getting F11Ds, holdouts, lightsabers, Z6, and Z6 is the best weapon in the game, and it's followed right behind by rocket launcher. So any version of FN can run those two, and it already looks like a monster. Trying to think, emo kids I haven't really played with much, but it seems pretty reasonable. You're rolling something pretty much akin or similar to Big Vader for damage. You've got a 2-side, 3 for a resource, 3 for a damage you, and then 1 in discard. You're heavily lacking in the resource, but in theory you just probably won't even use that side, and you may not even use the 1 side, because 1 doesn't feel great, especially when you have 50% for damage. But I do like me some Vader Trader with FN and Anakin. It's short on money, but it does a bunch of damage, and anyone who's played against FN knows you can't leave them alive. So if they go straight after FN, you could just end up having an Anakin fully suited up with lightsaber and Z6s. The holdouts in F11 is not so great there, but you take what you can get, because you can upgrade over them into pike or whatever you want. But the next team's very strong. It might be better now that people can't just fast hands crush you with damage. So I'm going to revisit that. You should expect to see not really a new updated list, but minor tweaks and some test matches into specific other top tier decks to see where it stands as a whole. But I don't want to go on for forever, and I was only going to do it during my car ride. I've probably still got about 20 minutes left, but I don't want to, leave it on for forever. Well, thanks for watching. I'm trying to think, check out our Patreon. We're going to start doing like our testing groups and whatnot, because we love the room sometimes when we're trying to keep stuff hidden. But for Patreon subscribers that are on the $3 tier or higher, there should pretty much always be that password, unless there is a veil of secrecy that we need to keep for someone else. So, we have a test group, someone doesn't want their deck out, they want to test something specific, or another Patreon subscriber is doing the deck tech thing and they choose to keep theirs hidden, we'll keep those ones locked out. But the other one should be free game. You guys can come see Rainbow FN when I'm doing those mini tests that are locked out usually, because I just don't want the list getting around. But I don't know, maybe come see Bobby Sapphire's new Poe Maz list, and NJ Cuenco's always working on something new. Like, he's probably the guy to watch if you're always just looking for some new deck, because he's just touching everything in the field. Yeah, like, I've seen him just play a different deck in every single event, and he plays relatively well. He takes some crazy gambles. Sometimes he loses because of them, but it's always relatively interesting near the end game to see what's going down. But I'm trying to think, any last parting words? Probably have a podcast coming out soon. Our schedules haven't been lining up too well. I've been pretty busy. Bobby Sapphire is, I think he's on the Cape right now. He's working like 3 days in a row. So our schedules just haven't really lined up yet. We'll expect something soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And let us know anytime. If you like anything, you have any ideas, something you want to hear or see, just let us know. Hyperloops, baby. Hyperloops.